Tony D and Little Joan with Screenwriter's Rant on Mayfair Witches, a new TV series based on Anne Rice novels. I'm not familiar with these. About a family of witches called the Mayfairs who have a house and long history. Looks kind of cool. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy horror in South Jersey. It's what? It's the Pineys, books 1 through 9, available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free, and don't forget there are witches in it. Here she is. The guy dies in front of her, and she may be the cause, like unintentionally, because of her witchy powers. And then this guy's part of a secret organization that monitors supernatural things. From the executive producer of Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. I mean, it's a solid entry. Here he is getting visions. I don't know of the past or future or whatever. That's kind of cool. Again, something I do in the Pineys. Yeah. And then there's a scene of a pregnant woman attempting to commit suicide, but then somebody stops her. I assume she's about to give birth to a future witch. But it doesn't drop until January. Like, what? Harry Hamlin's in it. Why wouldn't you have this out for Halloween? This is like a perfect Halloween show. Witches? Are you kidding me? You didn't have this out by Halloween. You're going to launch it on January. You're missing out. You missed out. You launch it months later? I mean, it looks like a cool show, though. They got witches' covens dancing around and strange secrets and a family it's with a history. And it's Anne Rice, so I mean, look, the vampire stuff's pretty cool. Why wouldn't this be cool? Probably takes place in New Orleans, I'm guessing, because it's got a very New Orleans look. So January 5th. I would totally watch this. You know, I like her stuff. Anne Rice, here she is. Here they are, like, I don't know. So it's about, like, she has powers and whether or not she'll, I don't know, go to the dark side or become a witch or not. And, you know, who controls the powers. And what the hell's the name of the lead again? Dario Dawson, who's pretty cute. Pretty cute. I mean, a decent actress. Oh, there she is. Decent enough actress, I think, for this role. I mean, this could be big. It's on AMC. And please, AMC, develop something that isn't The Walking Dead. Develop anything else. So, this would be cool because, you know, supernatural stuff. AMC already got The Walking Dead. You'd have some crossover there. You know, it's a different... I mean, just so sick of The Walking Dead. I won't get into it, but it's based on Anne Rice's stuff, and I mean, there's lots of drama and history to draw from, so it won't be like, I don't think, one of these forced shows. To me, it's closer to like True Blood, which was based on books, although they greatly deviated from them, my understanding. But True Blood was pretty good for a few seasons until, I don't know, I got sick of it, but then they got into fairies. So this looks cool, you know. So you can't really do a 3-act breakdown, but it's going to be, you know, the hook is the drama. Like, you know, what are her powers and how did she get them and why didn't she know, and you know, what other secrets are there in the house and about the people and the various organizations. With a book, though, I mean, the book, I assume, had an ending. I don't know how many books she wrote about Mayfair witches. I haven't even heard of it, so maybe it wasn't that successful. Maybe she only did one book. But, you know, it's about the groundwork. The difference, really, between, like, a TV series and a book, like, if it's based on a single book, is how do you lay the groundwork for further episodes, right? So, kind of with these kinds of series, you're going to have to start, at some point, you're going to have to start introducing other elements. So, depends on which way this goes. It could be other witches. It could be demonic forces. The most obvious choice for an Anne Rice thing would be vampires. I don't think they're going to go down that road, but they might. I'm not sure. I mean, there's a new Interview with a Vampire series. Are they going to do a crossover? I mean, I don't particularly like the new Interview with a Vampire series because it looks kind of woke, but that would be like the cool thing to cross over. The Anne Rice fans would go absolutely bonkers for it, but I think that's on a different network. I don't think it's on this network, so that seems unlikely, but possible. Um, but yeah, you'd want to lay the groundwork for the next level of enemy or whatever in a series like this to keep the drama going. And you can't make it too light, right? If it's too light, it becomes Buffy the Vampire Slayer, or worse, it becomes CW stuff. You don't want it. You want to still maintain the core of the series if it's going to be serious, and it appears to be serious. How do you do that? It's tough. It's tough to maintain a series like this and keep it serious. Like True Blood did that for about 2 seasons, and then it started to get ridiculous, in my view. Um, at some point, you just. This is the great thing about the early Game of Thrones. They just moved on. They just killed characters and kept moving on, and you were just like, holy F. A series like that, if it did that, oh man, it would be fantastic, right? But it wouldn't be TV. And TV guys, they're not quite wired to do that yet. They've had a taste of it, So that obviously you need to keep Daddario here. What's her name? Alexandra Daddario. You need to keep her in the series, and probably a couple of key guys, and that's the problem too. It's like TV guys, these guys are going to survive. Game of Thrones, you didn't know who was going to friggin' survive after, early on. You were just like, holy F. Sean Bean is dead? Spoilers. Yeah, in case you haven't seen Game of Thrones from like 10 years ago. So, yeah, that's really the challenge. Can they sustain it? Maybe. I mean, it's AMC, but the thing about The Walking Dead was it wasn't consistent. And I won't go into it, but it was really super inconsistent in some ways. If they could keep the consistency here and keep the tone, because they kept the tone in Walking Dead, even though they didn't keep the consistency. You could add other elements, or you could just add other tiers. The smart thing to do would be to add those other elements very gently, right? So, like, the next element wouldn't be, say, like vampires. That would be a big move. The next element would be just one other witch, right? And make a whole detailed thing about just this other witch and how she completely changes the map in the series in the second season. Then in the third season, maybe you introduce another coven, let's say, several witches. And you slowly up the ante, because what you're going for in a series, ultimately from the money end, you're going for syndication, which is 100 episodes, so basically 10 seasons, depending on how many episodes. I mean, usually it's about 10 now, so you're basically shooting for 10 seasons. So from a creative standpoint, you want to really slow your roll, as long as you. But see, the problem is if you don't have the ratings and you slow it too much, well, then what do? Well, in desperation, the producers kick it up like, we're going to have zombies and vampires in season 2. And then, like, everybody tunes in, and it's like, we got renewed for 3. Well, now you got nowhere to go because you've upped it in season 2 to such a point. Now you have to add werewolves and fairies and mummies and all kinds of crazy monsters just to up the ante, and then the show just unravels because it's ridiculous. So it's a very delicate balance here. Hopefully the show will be good in terms of, you got the executive producer of Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. Hopefully it's written at that level, right? If it's written at that level, you don't have to introduce a lot of elements. You're just digging down into the elements you already had. I mean, if you watch Breaking Bad, the first 2 seasons, really, him and Jesse are not very good drug dealers. It's that first season, it's a lot about Walt and just sort of gearing up to do it. And then the second season is about all the friggin' mistakes they make. And it takes them a long time. And that's what's so great about the series. The wind up on that is insane. Yeah, and by the end, it gets crazy. But it was a very steady increase. And that's what this show needs. It needs a nice, slow and steady increase. So, first season, you introduce the characters, the various elements. Second season, you introduce a couple of new elements, and you heighten the stuff you already have. Because remember, you're trying to go for 10 seasons here, essentially. Or however, I mean, Breaking Bad, what did that go? 8? I mean, you could do, if you're doing 13 episodes a season, what's 100? You'd have to do 8. 8 seasons. You'd be shooting for 8. It's doable, but you got to pace yourself. You don't, by third season, okay, you add a few more witches, maybe another coven. Fourth season, maybe add something new, like the vampires. Probably not, though, because it's Anne Rice. I don't know, maybe you add something else, like some sort of ancient creature or whatever. Demons or whatnot. I think the devil is in this, too. Fifth, sixth season, I mean, remember, you're going for 8. By the time you get to the 6th and 7th season, yeah, then you could up it up. By the last couple of seasons of Breaking Bad, I mean, he was going up some big opponents. But hopefully, like Breaking Bad, you lay the groundwork in the very early seasons. And that's very key. You might have some, I don't know who Harry Hamlin plays in this, but he might be the guy that comes back or has been the ally all this time, and then turns out he's evil or whatever, and then that's a big showdown in 8, just like the showdown between, spoilers, Hank and his brother-in-law, which was huge. Not really a showdown, but if you saw it. So yeah, that's what you got to try to build. It's a delicate balance. So I would give this a shot. I don't have AMC though, so I don't know where I'd see it, but I like witches, and I don't like. I like takes on witches that are closer to what witches are supposed to be, and they're generally supposed to be bad. Generally speaking, I know a lot of you witches went, "We're not bad." I mean, yes, there are some, New Age witchcraft, Wiccan. I'm not talking about, this isn't Wiccan. This is like ancient literary type witches. And in classic literature, witches are not good. They're connected to the devil. That's sort of a classic take. So it's not about you, pagans. Not really. This is a supernatural show. It's not based in reality. So, don't get mad when they start doing stuff about the show. It's still cool. Your religion is separate from this. I know. You're giving us a bad rep. It's not about you. That's, pagan religions is something different. And, there's some shenanigans going on in that world, too. Every organization had their own shenanigans. So I don't think they're knocking you specifically, witches. Be happy that you're just included, I would say. And plus, she's the main character, and she's a witch with superpowers, so that's kind of cool. And I don't think she's going to be a bad person in this. But I think it's going to be nuanced to some extent. And it's a horror series, so we'll see. Maybe at the end she goes crazy, and that's the end of the series. Could end big. Could end daring. Love to see it, from an entertainment standpoint. That's where you want to go. I mean, look how Breaking Bad ended. Like, what an ending. Spoilers, incredible ending. I won't give it away any more than I have, but, I mean, kind of the only way that could end. That's kind of what you want here. I know, it's not drug dealers, but you know what I'm saying. Like, build it. Really build it with the detail. Anyhow, that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble. You got to get over there, because who knows how long I'll be here. Although I am going up, getting more subscribers all the time, which is very nice. It's weird, though. It's like, I'm clocking in at about 2,700 subscribers, and it's going up, and it's clicking up, and it's like, my actual hits don't go up that much. You'd think, like, if you got 2,700 subscribers, you'd get, like, I don't know, 500 views, but you just don't. It's like a tiny percentage of that. I don't know the algorithm or whatever, but whatever. Anyhow, Mayfair Witches coming January 5th to AMC. And we'll see you tomorrow.